You think you understand Aquarius? You think a simple apology is enough for them to forget the pain? Think again. Aquarius isn't like anyone you've ever met. They're quiet like the wind, but as deep as the ocean. And if you ever stir those waters, don't expect to find your way back to shore. In this video, you'll uncover 6 reasons why hurting an Aquarius isn't just a mistake. It's the beginning of something far more powerful than you realize. When they're hurt, they don't scream, they don't chase, they don't punish. They leave silently, taking with them the very part of you that once felt safe, seen, and whole. Reason number 5. Won't threaten you. It won't shout. It will simply strike in the silence, the moment you realize that someone who once saw the very best in you has now chosen to never look your way again. Not out of anger, not from sadness, but because they've erased you from their heart, completely and without a word. Before we begin, leave your zodiac sign and birth date in the comments. Maybe, just maybe, what you're about to hear will help you see a relationship you thought was over in a completely new light. So, are you ready? Because when an Aquarius falls silent, it isn't the end of a story. It's a sentence handed down by the universe. We often assume that when someone stays silent, it means they've forgiven us. But with Aquarius, silence is never that simple. It's often the first sign that you've gone too far, without even realizing it. And once they've turned inward, no apology, no matter how sincere, can reach them anymore. That's why the first reason hurting an Aquarius is so dangerous begins right here. The silence of Aquarius isn't forgiveness. It's a final verdict from a soul that has awakened. They don't scream, they don't expose, they don't blame. When you hurt them, they'll smile, sometimes even more gently than usual. But that's exactly when they've already begun stepping out of your life. One quiet step at a time, no footsteps heard, no doors slammed shut. You think everything's fine because they say nothing, but inside them an old film is replaying. Every word you said, every little moment you didn't think mattered. They don't hold grudges, but they remember everything, like a tattoo etched permanently in memory. And then they vanish. No message, no closure. They don't say goodbye, because their silence already said everything you refused to hear. That silence isn't weakness. It's the conscious decision of a strong mind. Someone who knows that if you truly cared, you wouldn't have let things go that far. The distance they create isn't a strategy, it's consequence. And you will feel it, not in chaos, but in the quiet moments when you realize the person who used to be there for you is simply gone. You'll want to explain, but they're no longer around to hear it. You'll wish they got angry, yelled, blamed, because at least that would mean they still felt something. But no, Aquarius doesn't need to hate you to prove they once loved you. They just let go, with clarity. No bitterness, no revenge, just absence, absolute and permanent. And that is the deepest punishment the universe can give to someone who lost them. Because when someone who once loved you with all their trust walks away without a word, what's left inside you isn't a question, it's a void. You'll wonder, did they ever care? And the painful truth is, yes, they cared deeply. And because they loved so deeply, they won't allow you to break them again. They don't need to slam the door. They left that house long ago, taking with them the beauty you both could have protected. Karma doesn't always come with fire. Sometimes it comes by extinguishing every place where you once felt safe. No one listens like they did. No one calms you like they used to, and you'll live with the echo of that silence for a very, very long time. What makes an Aquarius's silence so terrifying is that they don't use it to wait for you to react. They don't go quiet hoping for comfort. They don't disappear just to be chased. They pull away to heal, alone. No one sees it, no one knows when it happens, and no one is allowed back in. That's why reason number 2 reveals something even more unsettling than their disappearance. Aquarius doesn't need you to close anything. They don't need closure. And that's exactly why you'll never get one. Most people, when hurt, seek an ending, a conversation, a final explanation, a moment of truth before letting go. But not Aquarius. They don't wait for you to admit fault. They don't need a last hug or a late apology to move on. When things break, when bonds crack, when you leave them in the dark, they don't chase after you asking why. They don't argue. They don't beg. They don't try to hold you in place with words that no longer mean anything. They simply turn inward to the only place where they've always found clarity. And here's the part that hurts. They find closure without you. They close the final chapter of a book you never finished reading. While you're still crafting your excuse, they've already boxed up every memory and walked away from it. Gently, completely, no warning, no goodbye. One day they were still there, the next, blocked, deleted, erased. No drama, no tears, no sound. They don't slam the door, they remove it from the frame entirely. That disappearance, that is the loudest scream you'll ever hear. Not because of volume, but because it leaves you living inside something that never really ended. You won't understand what pushed them away. You'll only know they're no longer there, and you're no longer allowed in. You'll try to reach out, wishing for just one final talk. You'll type and erase the same message over and over again. You'll scroll through old conversations, rereading their tone, their timing, their eyes, just trying to figure out when everything started to change. But they're no longer there for you to ask. And that's exactly when karma starts doing its work. It gives you the same feeling you gave them, being cut off without explanation, left behind without a chance to make it right. You'll search for closure and never find it. Because Aquarius never included you in the final chapter. Not because they stopped loving you, but because they learned. Never give someone the chance to hurt you twice. They're not bitter, they're not vindictive, they simply build a new home. One where no one who hurt them is ever allowed to knock again. And the most terrifying part? They truly move on and never look back while you're still waiting for a reaction, hoping for a second glance. They've already healed, evolved, and been reborn. They leave you behind, not out of hatred, but because you're no longer a peaceful place to stay. Aquarius doesn't need you to write the ending. They already did, and you weren't in it. From that moment on, you're stuck in a story that never truly closed, while they live in a world you're no longer invited to enter. And if you've gone quiet while listening to this, maybe you're finally understanding something you've never dared to name. Leave a comment below, just a few words, because someone else out there might be feeling the exact same way. Perhaps the thing people regret most after hurting an Aquarius isn't that they walked away, it's that they did it so calmly, like they had seen it coming all along. They didn't ask why, they didn't wait for an apology, they just left. And left you behind with the very chaos you once brought into their life. Because reason number 3 reveals one of the most profound truths about Aquarius. They don't fight back. They let karma speak for them. Aquarius doesn't need you to pay the price right away. They don't waste their time plotting revenge. Instead of lowering themselves to the same vibration as those who hurt them, they rise in silence, in stillness, in self-restoration, not to prove anything, but to return to themselves, whole again. To Aquarius, justice doesn't come through confrontation, it comes through energy. They deeply understand one universal law: what you put out always finds its way back. If you give them peace, they return it with unwavering loyalty. But if you send them chaos, prepare to receive that same chaos in return, not from them, from the universe. Aquarius is a mirror. They reflect the energy you give. The only difference is the universe amplifies it tenfold. You lie to them, they won't confront you. But soon you'll find yourself lost in a maze of mistrust, one you created. You try to manipulate, they simply step away, and let the universe teach you a lesson they never need to say aloud. You thought you could hurt them and walk away untouched? You were wrong, because Aquarius doesn't have to lift a finger, but the universe forgets nothing. Every missed opportunity, every strained relationship, every sudden breakdown, that's not bad luck. That's the energy you once sent finally coming home. You might not believe it at first, but when strange things start to happen, you'll notice. People who once supported you begin to drift. Plans that once flowed smoothly now fall apart without reason. And somewhere deep inside you'll remember you hurt someone who never retaliated, and now you're paying for it in silence. Aquarius doesn't lower themselves to petty battles. They don't get their hands dirty because they know karma does it better, faster, cleaner, and with sharper accuracy than any human ever could. And karma truly favors them, because even when broken, they guard their energy like gold. You won't see them angry, you won't hear them speak ill of you, you won't find them trying to teach you a lesson, but you will feel the universe teaching you in a way that stays with you forever. And the most painful part? They're no longer there to witness your collapse. They've already moved on, in peace. While you're still standing in the ruins, carrying a debt that can never be repaid. You think their silence is weakness? It's not. It's the strength of someone who chooses stillness and lets the universe speak instead. And when the universe finally answers on their behalf, it always hits exactly where it hurts the most. You see, Aquarius doesn't need revenge. They don't need to hurt you to feel like justice has been served. They let karma take care of the rest, softly, silently, and with precision. But there's something even more confusing than their silence and their disappearance. It's the moment you realize you never truly understood them. And that's reason number 4. They're too unpredictable, too far gone to ever reach again. Aquarius isn't just a personality. They're an entire universe. Behind those calm eyes lies a vast, intricate inner world, one you were once invited into. If they ever let you in, it meant something rare. You were trusted, chosen, and loved in a way they don't offer to just anyone. But once you've hurt that space, the door doesn't just close, it vanishes. There's no key, no second entry. You might still see their face, hear their voice, but the connection, it's gone. And what you feel now is distance, cold, wordless, untouchable. You expect them to explain, to break down, to lash out, but no, you'll only see them withdraw. One moment they're listening deeply, the next they're gone, to a place you'll never access again. They don't react the way you expect. You think they'll cry, they smile. You think they'll argue, they leave without a sound. And from that moment forward, nothing about them is predictable anymore. That unpredictability isn't a defense mechanism. It's who they are. Aquarius doesn't live by anyone's script. They follow their own timeline, their own logic, their own law. And when they choose to leave, it's not a reaction. It's a quiet decision they've been making for a long time. When they finally act, no one can stop them, not even you. You'll try to reach them again, but there's no one left there to respond. You'll send messages, apologies, memories, but they're no longer the version of themselves that once looked at you with softness. They've stepped out of that role, and that role will never return. Because Aquarius reads you like an open book from the very start. They see what you hide, the silence you fear, but they don't use that insight to hurt you. They hold on to it, so they'll know exactly when to let go. And when they decide you're no longer safe, they don't explain, they don't warn, they don't retaliate, they just disappear and let the universe reflect back exactly what you once gave. That's when the unraveling begins. The peace you once had starts to slip. The plans you depended on begin to crack. Your relationships turn cold, and suddenly you're lost in your own life. unable to understand why. The truth is, you once held a soul who loved you with profound understanding, but you wronged someone who saw you more clearly than you ever saw yourself. And when you lost them, you didn't just lose a person, you lost an entire dimension, one no one else will ever be able to replace. If you've ever felt this, or if you're stepping out of something with an Aquarius, hit the like button, not because this video is good, but because it feels like you. And if you want to keep hearing words that arrive just when your soul needs them, subscribe. So next time, the universe can send the right message right on time. That is the most delicate punishment karma ever delivers. No screaming, no storm, just silence. And the echo of a light that once warmed your life, now reduced to a memory. And perhaps the most terrifying thing isn't that you can't predict what they're thinking, it's that you were once inside their world. A world others spend a lifetime trying to reach, and then you did something, and the door vanished. No warning, no way back. That's when you begin to understand reason number 5. Aquarius doesn't forgive twice. When their heart closes, no one, not even you, gets in again. They might forgive, but they never forget. One wound is enough to be remembered so deep. No proof, no argument. They sense falseness like a sixth sense. Just once, your words don't match your energy, and they know. From that moment, you're no longer the person they once believed you were. They won't expose you. They won't demand apologies. They won't scream or accuse or beg. They just shift. Emotionally, spiritually, energetically, you still see them, but all connection is gone. No more warmth in their gaze, no more softness in how they stand beside you, because something inside them has already decided you're no longer safe. The most terrifying part? That change doesn't come with drama. It arrives in silence. And when Aquarius retreats quietly, that's when you've been erased from their world for good. You might call, text, wait, but they won't open that door again, not even once. Because the pain you caused didn't break them. It awakened a part of them you never even knew existed. When the tears dried, they didn't return to you. They returned to themselves, stronger, clearer, quieter. They turned betrayal into determination, wounds into wisdom, pain into a version of themselves you can no longer reach. He won't recognize them. The one who once looked at you with warmth now barely glances your way like you were never there. And that's when karma steps in, not with fury, but with the haunting realization that you once had access to a rare energy, and you damaged it. Now you'll watch from the sidelines as they glow up, as they rise, evolve, and become more radiant than ever, in a way you've never seen before. Not because they want you to regret it, but because you're no longer part of what's ahead. They don't need revenge. The universe handles that. By making you live with the feeling of being left behind. The lies you once used to manipulate, they don't work anymore. People begin to see through you. The masks you wore, useless now, not because Aquarius exposed you, but because their energy once trusted you, and now it rejects you. The universe always responds when you damage a pure soul, and that response is never gentle. You're not punished by their hatred, you're punished by being completely forgotten, by someone who once saw light in you, and the pain of never being let back in. That's the kind of ache you carry quietly for the rest of your life. You thought they left to punish you? No. They left to protect the last pure part of themselves, the part you no longer deserve to touch. But what you didn't expect is that when they pulled back their love, your world began to crack too. Because reason number 6 isn't about what Aquarius does, it's about what they don't. They don't bend, they don't beg, they don't explain, and it's their silence that shifts everything around you in ways you never saw coming. Aquarius is loyal in a quiet, unwavering way. They don't speak it often, but when they stand by you, they stand completely, even when the whole world walks away. They won't leave you in the storm, they won't abandon you in the gray. But their loyalty is not unconditional. It's built on trust, and once that's broken, it ends, quietly, without warning. They won't beg, they won't cling, they won't fight to fix what's already broken. They'll just slowly pull back everything they once gave, every ounce of grace, every quiet loyalty, as if none of it had ever been there. And when they leave, you haven't just lost a person, you've lost a shelter, a rare kind of home no one else can replace. But here's the tragedy. Aquarius doesn't know how to warn you. They endure things for far too long. They stay silent, they avoid conflict, they hate drama, and because of that, no one realizes how far they've been pushed until everything is already burning. They won't explode, they won't cause a scene, they just burn slowly, and then one day their energy is gone. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone, clean, quiet. And that hurts more than any argument ever could. You'll wake up and realize they're not there anymore. The eyes that once defended you, gone. The voice that once stood beside you, silent. Everything goes cold, and the scariest part is, you won't even know exactly where it all went wrong, but deep down, you know. You pushed a soul made for peace too close to the edge, and that's when karma takes over. The people who once trusted you, now they question you. Your words don't land like they used to. Relationships begin to drift. They chill. They tear at the edges. Allies disappear. Forgiveness fades. And the most bitter part? The ones who once stood with you now walk away in silence. Not because they've changed, but because you once lost someone the universe sent to stand beside you, and you took that for granted. Aquarius's emotional rigidity makes them fragile in a world full of noise and performance. They don't know how to negotiate chaos. They withdraw instead of arguing. They go quiet instead of setting boundaries. And because of that, what could have been saved is lost forever. Aquarius wasn't made to fight. They were made to walk with you. But if you make them feel unsafe, if you take their sanctuary for granted, they will leave, not to hurt you, but to protect the very best part of themselves from ever being destroyed again. So there it is. Hurting an Aquarius isn't like hurting anyone else. You won't see the consequences right away, but day by day, choice by choice, emotion by emotion, things begin to slip through your fingers. No noise, no warning, but all of it very, very real. They don't react to make you feel guilty. They don't bring it up to seek justice. They simply go silent and let the universe take over. And when the universe speaks on their behalf, you don't just lose a person, you lose a better version of yourself, the one they once saw and quietly tried to protect. If you've ever loved an Aquarius or are trying to understand one, leave a comment below. I once loved an Aquarius and what I regret most is. Or share your own story. Someone out there might be listening and they might understand you more than you think. If you're in the middle of a relationship with an Aquarius or have just stepped out of one, give yourself a moment of silence. Then come back, play this video again from the beginning. You'll hear something you didn't hear the first time. And if you truly want to understand how Aquarius loves, what they offer when they love, and why they leave even when they still care, go watch the video Aquarius in Love. It's linked in the description below. Because sometimes what you need most isn't to pull them back, but to understand why they chose you in the first place.